Hello, I want to just go over this quick exercise here using order of operations. So I want to look at these specific problems and go through the steps that we would take to use them. So we have here three problems that we're going to work on, and we're going to be using specific numbers for these. So everybody is going to have a different one. We're going to be using our birth dates. I am going to go ahead and use my daughter's birthday. So my daughter's birthday is going to be 9/11/2009. So we're going to write that as 09, 11, 09. Okay, so we're just going to be using the last two digits of the year here. We're going to assign each of these a value. So I'm going to make the first 9 A, the 11 is going to be the B, and the 09 is going to be the C. So let's go ahead and start with our first problem here, A. We have A squared minus B squared. So here what we're going to do is we are going to plug the A in first, the 09, so we can just use a 9 there. For the A, I'm going to put that in parentheses, and I'm going to put the B11 also in here in parentheses. Now, let's take a sidebar here and talk about order of operations. So you've probably heard, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which is a great way of remembering order of operations. I like to also use the acronym GEMS for order of operations. And I'll explain why when I get down to the last two steps. So G is going to be for grouping symbols. So grouping symbols are not just parentheses. You may also have some brackets or some absolute value problems. So grouping symbols will be first. Anything you can do inside the grouping symbols, you'll do that first. Then you'll move on to exponents. Exponents will be the next thing that we do. And then this is why we do MS instead of the PEMDAS part, because a lot of people think in PEMDAS you have to multiply and divide left to right, but it is really either or. So you're just going to go left to right, and any multiplication or division you run into, you're going to do that as you go left to right. So you do not have to multiply before you divide. If division comes before multiplication left to right, you would do that. So you're going left to right. And same thing for add and subtract. So left to right is again, and we're going to add or subtract left to right, whichever one comes first. Okay, so let's go back to our example here. We do have grouping symbols that I added in here, but inside there's just one number, so I can really only do nothing inside the grouping symbols. So I go straight to my exponents. My exponents here, I have 9 squared, which would be 9 times 9. That's going to give me 81. And then I have 11 squared, which is 11 times 11, and that's going to give me 121. And then I'm going to go ahead and do 81 minus 121. So let me go ahead and pull up my calculator here so that we can see it. Let me make it a little smaller here. Oh, it's not going to work. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do 81 minus 121, and that is going to give us negative 40. So the first answer here is going to be negative 40. Okay, let's go on to B. So we have A plus B in parentheses, and then times A minus B. So we're plugging A and B in again. So I have A is 9 and B is 11. So I'm going to have, let's see, 9 plus 11, and then 9 minus 11. So I set that up. Then I'm going to go inside my grouping symbols and do what I can do. So inside this grouping symbol, I can add. 9 plus 11 is going to give me 20. And then inside this grouping symbol, I can subtract. 9 minus 11 is going to give me a negative 2. I've done everything I can do inside the grouping symbols. I do not have any exponents. The next thing I'll move on to is multiplication. So I have 20 times negative 2, and that is going to give me a negative 40. 20 times 2, and then you have a positive times a negative. So look at that. I got negative 40 for both of those, which is pretty cool. That might not happen for everybody, but with this birthday, that's what seems to be working. Okay, and then my last one for C, we have, let's see, we have B squared minus 3. Then we have some grouping symbols here. You have a negative A plus C over 2. And I'm going to close that grouping symbol and then plus C. So let's go ahead and get everything added in. So B is 11. So we have 11 squared, then minus 3. Then I have a negative A, so I have a negative 9. And every time I plug something in, I'm plugging it in parentheses here. And then I have a plus C, which is 9. and then over 2, and then plus C, so that's going to be 9 again. So B is 11, the A was 9, C was 9, the C was 9, with that in parentheses. Okay, and that's just in case there's any different symbols or anything going negative, just like right here. Okay, so first thing we're doing is inside the grouping symbols. So I have grouping symbols right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on inside those grouping symbols. So inside the grouping symbols, I'm going to go left to right and top to bottom. Okay, so here I have left to right, I have an addition. Okay, because, and I'm going to do the addition before division here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because of this long division line here. Okay, this long division line here means I want you to add everything on top before you divide because of the long division line. If it were, for instance, A over 2 and then plus C, then it would mean I only want you to divide A first and then add C. So that is the difference there with when I do the addition first as opposed to the division here. Okay, so you see the difference, sorry, with these two problems here. Okay, so I'm just gonna cross that out for right now. Okay, so here I have a -9 plus 9, which is actually going to be 0. -9 plus 9 gives me 0. So there I get 0, and then I'm going to do 0 divided by 2. It's going to give me 0. So outside this grouping symbol, I'm going to come out with a 0. Let's bring everything else down. So we have an 11 squared. We have a -3. This is what came out of the grouping symbols, and then I have a plus 9. Okay, so inside all these parentheses, there's just one term. So now I'm going to move on to my next step, which is exponents. So my exponent, I have an 11 squared, so 11 times 11, that's going to be 121. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. Okay, now I have either multiplication or division, so left to right, and I'm finding right here, I have a multiplication left to right of 3 times 0, or -3 times 0. Either way, anything times 0 is 0, so we're going to have a -0 there. So you would bring that minus sign down. Okay, and then the next thing we have is addition, subtraction, left to right. So we first do the subtraction, 121 minus 0, which is going to give us 121. And then plus 9 is the very last thing we do, and that's going to give us 130. So thank you for watching. I hope this helps you with your order of operations exercises.